What is up? I just wanted to give you a huge warm welcome. If you're watching this, then that means that you are world class at what you do. And I really do mean that. Our company is one of the fastest growing, Inc. 5000, literally top 100 fastest growing private companies easily in the entire world and in the United States. And so if you're here, you really are special, and you should, act that way and think that way, because it really is true. And so here, we like to call ourselves ninjas. Our mission really is to kind of revolutionize and really enable millions of entrepreneurs from all around the world to kind of take back their time, right? We want to enable people to actually have the time and freedom to watch their kids grow up, right? Not be trapped in a cubicle, not be, feeling anxious and depressed about monotonous, lives where they're not doing the things that they want to do. And so we teach people and enable people how to take back their life, their financial and their time freedom, so that they can actually, watch their kids grow up. And we do that in a lot of different ways, right? We want to trust you and your team and your managers or you as a leader to be able to, do things and have autonomy and freedom and power to make decisions, right? Constantly asking yourself important questions. How can we simplify this, right? What's best for the company? Would I have no problem explaining my decision to myself or to David or to the C-suite level managers? And if the answer to those things are yes, right? If it's best for the company, yes. If I'd have no problem explaining that to Kevin or David or the leaders of the company, then do it, right? We don't want to micromanage you. You don't want to be micromanaged, and we hired you for a reason, right? Steve Jobs said, you don't hire smart people to tell them what to do. You hire smart people so that they tell you what to do. In our story, very quickly, myself, like many people, millions and millions of people around the world, I was stuck in a cubicle in a job I hated, and I decided to make a change. I tried and really kind of failed, and I don't like the word fail because I think there really isn't any failure, only feedback in life. But I failed at a few businesses until I finally found Amazon, right? And Amazon really changed my whole life. And in a short, few months, I was making more from my side hustle than I was from my 9-to-5 job. And now, I've dedicated my life to helping, millions of people and entrepreneurs from around the world kind of have those same results. And, fast forward to now, we have over 100 world-class team members such as yourself, who are part of one of the fastest growing private companies in the entire US and in the entire world. And we've reached hundreds of millions of entrepreneurs from all around the world and helped tens of thousands and growing every single day of people, create the life that they want and not feel trapped in a cubicle, for 40 years watching their life waste away. So our mission, right? Our mission on this earth is to enable everyday people to take back their lives from the man, right? And have the freedom and the time to watch their kids grow up. And, our vision is we're a trusted team. We understand our values and we create a better life for people around the world. We're committed to our customers, and, our teamwork is really what makes that actually possible. So our vision really is to be accountable, right? If you're not accountable to getting things done, you're not going to do well in this company. You're not going to do well on your own. You're not going to do well in any company. Accountability and ownership is one of the most critical, important things, right? When it comes to actually flourishing, within our company, because we move extremely fast, right? Many other companies our size and our revenue have thousands of employees, and we have, just over 100, which means that each of our, members have to kind of have 10x the output than a regular, employee somewhere else. And our motto, right? And this is the most important thing probably in this entire presentation, is better every day. Right? If you get better every day, if you get more efficient, if you create processes and systems and structures and outsource things to virtual assistants and create better, more efficient ways to do things, right? You're going to do very well here. And, our core ideologies, right? Our core values: serve the customer, right? Support our employees, strengthen our community, right? And provide, all of our team members with what they need to get results, to win, to, ultimately delight our customers. And that comes through problem solving, right? Being able to solve problems really stems from, like I said before, 3 questions. what's best for the customer, what's best for the company, and would I have no problem explaining my decision straight to the CEO? And if those three things, the answer is yes, then do it, right? You don't need to be micromanaged. You don't need to wait for permission. Do it. Characteristics that define a good leader, right? Leaders obsess over customers, right? Keeping track of their competitors, making sure that they know what's going on in the market. Leaders are owners, right? The founder mentality who act on behalf of the entire company beyond just their own team, right? If there's trash on the ground, leaders pick it up. They don't say it's somebody else's job. And leaders are always aware and always look for new ideas and new inventions. They operate at all levels, right? The details, they audit things frequently, trust but verify. They're skeptical about analytics and metrics, and they give everything the logic test to make sure it makes sense. Leaders focus on key inputs and outputs, right? And they deliver things timely. Leaders are never done learning. Probably the most important thing, just being a student of life. Leaders hire and develop and teach and train their members of their teams. They take the coaching very, very seriously and learning very, very seriously. Leaders are continually raising the bar, and they focus on, again, key outputs and achieving those. And mindset's the most important thing. In some companies, like we talked about earlier, people ignore the trash on the floor. In some companies, anybody who sees it picks it up because they care, right? They have that owner mentality, that founder mentality, and having that, right, and feeling proud of the company and what we do and how we help people, have the time and energy and freedom to watch their kids grow up. It's incredibly important. So accountability and ownership, right? Loyalty, resourcefulness, not just being resourceful, but having resourcefulness, right? Figuring out how to get things done, even with constraints and not necessarily, unlimited resources and things like that. And then getting better every day, right? Our motto, better every day, continuous improvement. Another thing that's very important to understand is something called first principles, right? So first principles ultimately means there's two types of people in the world. There's people who do things because they're the way they've always been done, and there's people who ask, why? Like, why couldn't we improve this? How do we make this better, right? We here at this company are the second type of person. Constantly, I want you guys to ask, how could we do this in a more efficient way? Right? Why are we doing it this way? Why couldn't we do it, for example, like this? Or why don't we use this piece of technology to make this process more efficient, right? I promise you, you will move faster up through the ranks of this company by asking how can we improve and giving an answer and a potential solution of ways that we can potentially improve our processes, faster doing that than doing pretty much everything else. Our vacation policy, our policy with budgets and everything is just very simple, right? Act in our company's best interest. And if you always act in our company's best interest, you can basically do whatever you want, right? If you want to take a vacation, take a vacation. That doesn't mean just, leave without saying anything to anyone. Obviously you have to kind of prepare and get people in place to handle your roles and responsibilities and make sure that, things are still getting done. But we want you to be happy. We want you to take vacation. We want you to do whatever you want, essentially, as long as you act in the company's best interest. Our work culture. Dream it in the morning, build it in the afternoon, right? And have incredibly high talent density, right? And we do a lot of things to recognize people's incredible contributions, employees of the week, employee of the month, just for people that kind of quietly and selflessly do the right thing, make efficient choices and move us forward. And having an impact, right? We're literally reaching millions and tens of millions and hundreds of millions of people of all around the world, right? So what you're doing in your day-to-day contribution, you really are making a difference and having a massive impact on people's lives. And we show that through our culture code. We commit maniacally to both our mission and our metrics, right? You can't improve what you don't measure. And so, the smartest and the kind of most capable and people that do the best here understand that you don't make decisions emotionally. You make decisions based on data, right? You make decisions based on metrics. You can't improve what you don't measure, which is why it's so important to actually track and identify what is the most simple, most critically important output of your specific job role or department. We look to the long term, right? We share openly. Transparency is key here. We favor autonomy, right? But with autonomy, where you're able to do whatever you want, that means you have to take ownership of actual results, right? Of course, we're a business and we have to have, results and output. And there's some people who just get it done no matter what, and there's some people who don't. We believe our best perk is amazing people, right? Getting to work with other incredible, caring, sharp people is so important. And again, we dare to be different and we question the status quo, like we talked about, first principle thinking, asking, why can't we do this a better way? What technology would make this more efficient? And we recognize that life is short. So refactoring is something that we use inside of our company. We use a little handy acronym here, SCRAP: stop generating unused reports, cancel unproductive meetings, remove unnecessary rules, automate manual processes, and prune extraneous process, right? So basically what this means is be efficient. If there's meetings that we don't need, cancel them, right? If there's reports that are useless or could be simplified, then figure out how to do that, right? If there's a manual process or something that's tedious or taking up a lot of your time, find a way to automate it with technology, with Zapier, with virtual assistants, right? And constantly remember scrap, right? Stop generating unused reports, cancel unproductive meetings, remove unnecessary rules, automate manual processes, prune extraneous processes. We set big goals, right? And this isn't to be mean or impractical, but really the reason that we set big goals is because big goals force us to find ways to make radical, significant improvements rather than, just little incremental ones growing, 1% a year. Instead, we try to 10x our business. And even if we don't reach that, we make huge progress along the way. And if we're solving difficult problems, right, that of course creates a competitive advantage, which is why we like to set big goals as well. Another, probably the most important thing with our company is today, not tomorrow, right? So the people who do the best here and get quick promotions and become part owners and get profit share and all of these exciting perks, right? That happens because people have a bias for action. You understand that the most impactful thing in our business, right, is actually getting things done quickly, right? Today, not tomorrow. Don't push it off. If you can do it now, right? You strive to make things better today than they were yesterday. And they don't have to necessarily be perfect, but we do have to take massive action. And you avoid information paralysis, right? Too much information is a bad thing. First principle thinking means, okay, there's all these different things. What's the one most important thing? Concentrate everything on that. Ignore everything else. So a saying that we like to say around here in our company is, the quick shall inherit the earth, right? Fast is always better than slow. Slow is adding unnecessary things. Fast means, getting out there and actually doing things, learning from experience. The slow just think about things and they theorize. The fast are the ones who actually ship and finish things quickly. And that's not to say you shouldn't think at all, right? But there's a very defined moment where you can only think so much and then you have to start doing. Right? And we value something called T-shaped people, right? People who are, just very skilled and world-class generalists, right? Who have the resourcefulness to go and search Google and figure out how to do something, right? Or watch a tutorial on YouTube. The beautiful thing about the internet is you can figure out how to do anything if you learn how to learn. That's so important, right? Learning how to learn. We have an acronym in our company called GIN. Right? GIN, G-I-N, stands for Google it now, right? If you don't know how to do something, figure it out. There's literally unlimited information and tutorials on Google, in blogs, in YouTube, for any topic you could possibly think of. You can find it by searching and just taking a little time to learn it, right? So world-class generalists, but also a deep knowledge and skill in one subject, right? That's kind of the bottom part of the T. So the generalist at the top, and then an expert, among the best in your field, which you are, whether or not you might think so, at specifically what you do. So what we like to talk about is something called team leads, right? We don't want people to necessarily be managers and kind of, micromanaging people, but more so they're kind of a clearinghouse of information, right? They're the one kind of that knows all of the details about the project. They have everything in their head at once so that people can kind of use them or you as a resource to kind of check decisions against, have as a sounding board, and just kind of being that center. What if I screw up, right? Risks. Anybody, if you're here, you're world class at what you do, regardless of whether or not you might think that. And so you might be thinking, well, I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want Kevin or David or the managers or C-suite level people to get mad at me if I mess up, right? No one has ever been fired in our organization for making a mistake, and no one ever will, right? It wouldn't make sense. If you're doing things and you're asking yourself, is it best for the customer? Is it best for the company? But I have no problem explaining that to the CEO, right? Even if you make a mistake, which will happen. I make mistakes every day, right? You're never gonna get in trouble for having a bias for action, taking action, and conscientiously trying to do things that are in the best interests of the company. Putting more tools in your toolbox, right? So one of the most important thing that we talk about here is you can't manage what you can't measure, right? You can't improve what you don't measure. And what that means is, you have to, humans by nature make emotional decisions. They say, okay, I like that person, we should hire them, right? But what you should do is look at the data, right? What have they built in the past? What kind of accolades, what success, what do their references say, right? The more data that you have, the more relevant data, the better decision that you're gonna make more often of the time. And so the way that you make decisions, the way that you actually measure progress, right, is through actually measuring the metrics that are most critically important for whatever that particular department or operation might be. And like we said before, the most successful people are super skilled at a general set of broad things, and then world-class experts at one narrow kind of discipline. And we really like to prioritize customer obsession and curiosity and growth, right? Curiosity means you're reading books about your particular department, on your own time, because you genuinely love, what you do, and you love, trying to get better and learning more from other experts, and just constantly staying a lifelong learner and a student. And simplification, so critical, right? People love to create, spreadsheets that have 50 or 100 columns when realistically they should have 5. Right? And so, it's actually more skillful and more creative to create something beautifully simple than it is to create something very complex. It's like Mark Twain said, right? If I had a longer time, I would have written you a shorter letter. It's actually more skilled and more difficult and requires a smarter individual to make something beautifully simple than it does to make something overly complex. So constantly look for ways to simplify, right, rather than add complexity. And our leadership principles, right? These aren't inspirational things just to kind of hang on the wall, right? These are things that we actually do every day, right? These are things that our CTO and our vice presidents and our directors and managers and all of our team members use, right, for deciding on the best solution, for a customer's problem, for hiring new people or whatever the case may be. So bias for action, frugality, right? We've talked about these things, accomplishing more with less, having constraints and not having unlimited budgets actually forces people to kind of think outside the box and be creative about, problem solving. And then a bias for action, right? Speed matters in business, it just does. Many decisions and actions are reversible and they don't need to be thought about for weeks, right? We value calculated, metric-driven decision-making, a bias for action, and making decisions fast, right? Thinking big, earning trust, from your teams if you're a leader, from your leaders if you're a member of the team, and you really want to benchmark yourself and try to improve and go with our motto every single day of getting better every day. It's going to eventually come up where people disagree, right? That's natural, it's good. But sometimes, we have to disagree and commit. What disagree and commit means is, sometimes you're not gonna all agree on things, but you have to trust in the leadership, right? That maybe they have more access to information, maybe they have more experience, maybe they're wrong, right? But disagreeing and committing and still getting behind something is so critically important to actually getting things done. Hiring and developing the best. So if you have, people that you've worked with, the smartest people you've ever worked with, the most skilled people you've ever worked with, we want those people inside of our company, right? And so let us know, right? Let your manager know to tell me if you, think that you have somebody who absolutely is just an absolute rock star. We want those people. Even if we don't have a role for them, we still want them. And taking ownership. Leaders are owners, right? They think long term. It's their company. It's your company too. And when it's your company, you act differently, right? Your decisions are different. Diving deep, right? Really diving into all metrics, being skeptical, checking things, double checking, not just blindly trusting things, insisting on the highest standards, right? Delivering results, and developing what we call a founder mentality. Right? The hardest thing for any company founder is finding team members with a founder mentality, right? What that means is, people will say, well, I'm not the founder, I'm not paid enough to care. Actually, right, you are, right? The knowledge and the skills that you gain by developing a founder mentality sets you up to be a founder down the line, or sets you up to have a long career and all sorts of, raises and benefits and profit sharing and equity and all these different things. But it starts with genuinely caring and creating a founder mentality. High velocity decision making, we've talked about, right? One size never fits all from a decision making process. Understanding that decisions are reversible and that you have to take action. Making smarter decisions faster. The thing is, most of the time, you're only going to have 70% of the information that you need to make a decision. But if you wait till you have 90%, oftentimes it's too late, right? So you have to get better at making intelligent, data-driven decisions when you don't have all the information, right? Because oftentimes waiting until you do means it's too late. Making smarter decisions faster, right? We implemented a system, right, where once a year we're actually going to offer every member of our team, right, half a month's salary to quit if they want to, right? What this does is it means if people are unhappy or if people are not world class or if somebody is going to come in and care more and work harder, right? We want those people to be here, and we don't want anyone who's not a world class, somebody who's proud to be here, somebody who's proud to come to work every day. We don't want people who are not 100% committed, and so we'll literally pay you to leave if that's what you want. And so that's something that we learned from Netflix and many other companies implement that, and it's working great. And we, up until now have never actually had somebody who's wanted to leave and take advantage of that, which is, makes me very proud. So we want people to be hungry, and what that means is, hungry people wake up every morning and they are driven by hunger, right, to do their job for themselves, for the company, for the mission, for their purpose, to help people, have the time freedom and the financial freedom to watch their kids grow up. Hungry people and team members are always in search of achieving more, learning more, taking on more responsibility and ownership. They're self-motivated and attentive, and they always bring out the best in themselves and their teams. We organize our structure, right? Like we said before, you can't improve what you don't measure. We organize all of our departments and goal setting using a method called OKRs. And I recommend you Google search OKRs. It stands for Objectives and Key Results. It was developed by a multi-billionaire. It's the methodology that Google uses and many other trillion-dollar companies, which ultimately means that we set a high-level objective, and then we use measurable, time-bound key results to actually track whether or not we are accomplishing that objective, right? And we set ourselves uncomfortably high objectives, right? And then we have to meet them. And then we have about 10 milliseconds of celebration, and then we set even further difficult to reach what's called stretch goals, right? To really push ourselves out of our comfort zone and constantly try to achieve more. And like I said before, you don't hire smart people to tell them what to do. You hire them to tell you what to do. So in summary, guys, we encourage independent decision making by all of our team members. We share information openly and broadly. We try to be very candid with each other about everything. We really only want to keep world-class effective people who implement first principle thinking and say, how can we improve this, right? People who make decisions based on data and ask themselves, is it best for the customer? Is it best for the company? Well, I have no problem explaining it to the CEO. If the answers to all those three things are yes, do it, right? Avoid rules, right? We really don't want to create unnecessary rules, in our company. We really want to, only have systems and processes in place that actually enable and inspire you to get more done, to constantly push yourselves with new, more audacious goals. And like my boy Antoine said, if you want to build a ship, don't drum up the people to gather wood, divide the work and give orders. Instead, teach them to yearn for the vast and endless sea. Right? Which is a beautiful way to end this. Again, congratulations for being here. If you're here, regardless of what you might think, you are world class, right? You're part of one of the fastest growing companies in the entire United States and in the world, right? We serve hundreds of millions of people, help tens of thousands of people, achieve their dreams. And really, we focus on our motto, better every day. And we focus on our mission, which is to give people their time back, to free them from the 9-to-5 cubicles, and to really give them that time and financial freedom to be able to watch their kids grow up. So again, congratulations and welcome to the strongest team on earth.
He was truly trying to help people to leave their 9-to-5 and to, become successful.
He's really invested in every single person in his program. So if you're somebody that does well with someone that actually cares about you, then you need to work with Kevin.
His videos are phenomenal. He's always giving great strategies.
The guy is raw, is legit, is honest, he cares about his students.
If you're looking at Amazon FBA, Shopify, Facebook ads, ClickFunnels, any of it, Kevin David is the man.
This is not a guy who is just sharing, a bunch of fluff to fill content. He's not sharing, what the latest rumor is. This is a guy who is constantly testing everything.
I was lucky enough to stumble upon Kevin, be successful. He actually does care about his students. This is what's going to change my life.
Kevin David. Kevin David is Kevin David.
Kevin David.
Kevin David.
Kevin David.
Kevin David.
If you ever get a chance to be a part of this, I highly recommend it. It's going to change your life just like it has changed my life too.
We wanted to say thank you to Kevin. Without him, I wouldn't be able to travel with Casey and do this on the road, and it's just really helped us be able to do something we never thought, which is, travel full-time in an RV together.